In the first reading, God told Jeremiah to get a loincloth. And for those of you who don't know, loincloth was really what held a man's clothes together. It was one of the most intimate, essential, important things that in those days a man needed to have in order to, well, it's like, think of a belt. You need a belt to hold your clothes. And so God said, I want you to buy this loincloth and I want you to wear it. I want you to wear it for some time. And so Jeremiah did that. And then God says, I want you to go over here. I want you to take off your loincloth and I want you to put it and bury it in the ground. And I want you to come back later. So he wears the loincloth and then he buries the loincloth. And then I don't even know how long, a long time after, God says, now I need you to go to that loincloth and I need you to hold it up and I need you to look at it. So God takes that loincloth that was buried and now it's completely decayed, completely messed up, completely ugly and destroyed. And he says, this loincloth is essential to tying a man. It is essential, it is the most important thing as you are to me. But because you have messed up, you have turned away, you also are decayed like this loincloth. And so the context of this first reading is that the people, as I've shared with you, they have lost their way. It's like they have become so spoiled, or they forgot God's promises, they forgot God's laws, they forgot everything. So they continue to worship false idols, false gods. They continue to not listen to God's commands, but they kept, literally, Jeremiah came and said, I need you to listen. God wants you to listen. And over and over and over, the people did not listen. So God says, I'm going to show you an image. You understand loincloths? They knew what it was. And so Jeremiah took this loincloth that he wore to represent that God created them to cling to God. That's the image of the loincloth. That as a loincloth clings to a man, so shall his people cling to God. But if you don't cling, what happens? Just like this loincloth, it got destroyed by the elements, by the ground, by the earth. And just like these people became destroyed by the worldly things, by the decay, by sin, by all these things. And so God is trying to teach his people a valuable lesson of what happens when he does not cling to the Lord. My dear friends, this imagery it should sadden your heart. It should sadden your heart to see what not just happens to Israel, but what happens to us every single time. Maybe for us, we're not completely rejecting God. I doubt it because you're at daily mass. Daily. Right? But what happens invisibly is the little moment where we don't trust the Lord. The little moment where we have some type of hardship or struggle and we think, God, are you listening to me? God says, if you only knew how much I love you, if you only knew that from the very beginning of time, humanity continues to do this to me over and over and over and over again, when will you learn, humanity, that I am a God that made you to cling to me? My dear friends, all the time I get asked all the time, Father, why do we have to be tested? Why do we have to struggle? Why? Because we are spoiled human beings. I don't know how else to tell you that. It's kind of direct, right? If we have consolation every single day and life is not hard and life is easy, I doubt your love for God will be strong. I doubt it. It is those cultures who had to really fight. They understood what it means to love God because they had to fight for it. They didn't have daily mass. They didn't have to go to church and worry about their lives. They fought for it. We can go to mass every single day and it's pretty nice here. We can leave our doors unlocked in the cars and nothing will happen. And you're like, no, you won't do that. But you know what I mean. Our lives, God is so good that he allows us to face struggle because he wants to teach us how to really love. My dear friends, love can only be tested with suffering. I'm going to say that one more time. Love can only be tested by suffering and trials. If you do not like that, then that is the world seeping into your mind. We have to see the world with the lens of God and have a vision of this understanding. Does it mean that God just wants us to be sad all day? No, that is also not the right teaching. God gives us joy and peace and love, but He also gives us trials and struggles because He wants to teach us how to really love Him. And then it's an ebb and flows of trials and joy until we go to heaven. And guess what? Just joy.